Dr. Mitchell recommended to you that the tapes be destroyed?
All of us were concerned about the tapes.
You an advocate for destroying the tapes?
I thought those videotapes should be destroyed.
These are videotapes that subsequently destroyed.
At the time Jose destroyed the tapes,
President Trump's pick for CIA director, veteran spy Gina Haspel, insists she did not realize that the tapes of post-9/11 interrogations would be destroyed.
There's been much debate and much news coverage about Jose Rodriguez, the former director of the National Clandestine Service, and his decision to direct the destruction of the detainee interrogation videotapes. Can you describe for members your role in those events?
I was Chief of Staff to the Deputy Director for Operations, that is head of the Clandestine Service. The tape issue had lingered at CIA for a period of about 3 years.
The tapes documented interrogation sessions using brutal techniques, including waterboarding, with al-Qaeda detainees.
I didn't like the fact that the tapes were out there. I had a visceral reaction to the tapes. I thought they were ugly.
Had you seen them?
Of course I saw them.
I felt it was important to have the tapes destroyed because I needed to protect the people who were there in the black sites. And they were not just my people, but they were also people from other directorates that were involved with our team conducting the enhanced interrogation program. I mean, we were very concerned about it and had been trying to get them destroyed for years.
In May of 2005, Mr. Rizzo reports, I told Jose and his chief of staff, that was you, is that correct? I can't recall if I talked to them separately or together. They were crestfallen because they were now on notice that the DNI, 2 successive White House counsels, and the vice president's top lawyer had weighed in strongly against destroying the tapes. Do you recall that conversation?
Senator, I don't recall that specific conversation. However, I was aware that there were some objections, and that is why Jose was going to go back to the director.
With all respect, those aren't some objections. Those are very straightforward prohibitions by your superiors to not destroy the tapes, were they not?
Senator, I don't recall that specific conversation.
By the fall of 2005, the question of what to do with the tapes had been quiet for several months. But then the CIA was hit with a pair of new threats.
Senator Levin introduced legislation to create a commission, model on the 9/11 Commission, to look into the agency's treatment of detainees.
On October 31st, senior CIA counsel John Rizzo sent an email outlining his concern about the proposal.
Were you aware of Senator Levin's actions?
Senator Warner, what I recall were the security issues surrounding the tapes. I don't recall pending legislation.
On November 2nd, the Washington Post published an extensive report on CIA black sites. Rodriguez was among those enlisted to dissuade the paper from publishing some details. On November 3rd, the federal judge overseeing the Moussaoui trial ordered the government to search for any video or audio of captured militants. On November 4th, Haspel and Rodriguez contacted the base where the tapes were being held and described how to ask permission to destroy the tapes.
Great deal of public interest just that week in the whole interrogation question. Were you aware of that when you made this decision?
Senator, I do not recall being aware of that.
According to a press story today about the destruction of the interrogation videotapes, Jose Rodriguez told you in advance that he was going to take matters into his own hands. Did that conversation happen?
Senator, no, it did not. Mr. Rodriguez indicated to me that he planned to discuss it with the then director, Goss.
Mr. Rodriguez said that he asked you to ask 2 questions of the lawyers the day before the drafting of the cable. One was, was it legal to destroy the tape? Second, did he have the authority? Did you mention to those lawyers the intention to issue a cable that would destroy the tapes when you asked those 2 questions, or were those the only questions you asked?
No, Senator, I explained that Mr. Rodriguez wanted to get resolution on this issue and that he was planning to have a conversation with the director about it, and he needed to have revalidation of those 2 points.
Rodriguez said the answer she got to both questions was yes.
So again, you got assurance from your lawyers that destroying the tapes was legal?
Correct.
Mr. Rodriguez asked me to prepare a cable because he was going to have another conversation with then director of the agency to talk about this issue again. I did so.
At the time Jose destroyed the tapes,
what did he do?
he ordered that a cable be written to the field ordering the destruction of the tapes. And at the time, the director of CIA, Horter Goss, was opposed to the destruction of the tapes. At the time, the DNI, John Negroponte, was opposed to the destruction of the tapes. At the time, the White House counsel, Harriet Miers, was opposed to the destruction of the tapes. Jose, who I have great admiration for, a great officer, knew that his superiors, DCI, DNI were opposed, and knew White House counsel was opposed. Jose went ahead and did it anyway.
He released the order, he believed, on his own authority. He took the decision himself, and he said it was based on his own authority. I asked him if he had had the consultation with the director at the time, as planned, and he said he decided to take the decision on his own authority.
And you were aware, because you drafted the cable, that the lawyers weren't copied on the cable.
But I knew that the lawyers had been consulted in a meeting and consulted over many times over 3 years.
When he found out what happened, Rizzo sent a one-word email. What?